All right, I think we are about ready to begin. I want to say good morning and good afternoon to everyone on the East Coast. I want to thank everybody who's attending. We have another great turnout for our latest webinar in the NIMBL Techedge Group lecture series. Today we'll be speaking about SAP Support Backbone Update and how you'll be impacted. A little bit about us at NIMBL Techedge Group. We are SAP technologists and SAP ecosystem thought. Our consulting business delivers SAP projects, both technical and functional, while our SAP managed services supports both Fortune 1000 and mid-market 24/7 across 20-plus skill sets. We are focused on digital transformation, both on-premise and in the cloud, including S/4HANA Cloud multi-single tenant, SAP Cloud Platform, Analytics, and Industry 4.0. Here are the list of some of our offices around the world. And here's a list of some of the clients that we've worked with. Just a couple housekeeping items before we get started. We want to be able to answer as many questions as possible. So if you'll take a look at the chat box in the lower left-hand corner, feel free to type in any any question throughout the presentation, and we'll make sure that our presenter, Jeremy, answers it. And just so you know, we will be sending out an edited copy of the video to those who attend. All right, let's get right to it. Our speaker today is Jeremy Swoboda. He is an experienced senior SAP Solution Manager consultant with expertise in both Solman 7.1 and 7.2. He is also a nationally recognized speaker and writer, having authored the latest SAP Press Solution Manager book, SAP Solution Manager, A Practical Guide. Before we hand it over to Jeremy, we kind of want to get a lay of the land, so we just have a couple poll questions for you, just so that Jeremy can get a feel to the audience. The first is, which version of Solution Manager are you currently on? It's at Solman 7.1 with Support Package 4 through 15, 7.2 with 3 through 6, 7.2 with 7 through 8, or others. We have a lot of people filling out. And it looks like the bulk of you are on Solman 7.2, 3 through 6. I'll give you a little bit more time to fill that out. All right, and on to our next poll question. When do you plan on performing the upgrade to Solution Manager 7.2 Support Package 8? And would that be which quarter of 2019? And again, we'll give you a little bit of time to fill that out. It looks like most people are looking at Q3 and Q4 this year. All right, great. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to our speaker, Jeremy. Jeremy, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Jake, and thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Today, we're discussing the SAP Support Backbone update that SAP has been in the progress for probably, I don't know the exact time frame, but the past year they've definitely been working on it to get the backbone available and up and running by the beginning of this year. So today what we want to discuss is what the update is, what it means to you, and how it impacts your use of Solution Manager, as well as some of the functionality within just a standard NetWeaver ABAP system. So right off the bat, what is the SAP Support Backbone? So it's essentially the infrastructure that SAP has built in order to enable Solution Manager as well as managed systems to connect to SAP to download a variety of information. Early watch alert, content, data, licensing information on your managed systems, and it's really a bi-directional connection, allowing Solution Manager to upload data to SAP systems as well as download data. So this backbone is absolutely critical to a lot of the key functionality within Solution Manager, and that's why we want to discuss it today. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of the impact and is prepared to get the required changes complete throughout 2019 so that you're ready for the 2020 deadline. So the big question is, why is SAP making this change? Really, SAP is doing it so they can really enhance their current infrastructure and really, like it sounds like, update it, right? They want to make it better. They want to make it faster. They want to make it to support the future technologies down the road. So really that's all it is. They're making it just a new updated system that can handle all future requirements. So the first thing to understand is which areas are impacted. So the first obvious one is Solution Manager. If you're on 7.1 or even 7.2, Support Pack 3 through Support Pack 6, you do need to look at getting to Solution Manager 7.2, Support Pack 8. All NetWeaver ABAP-based systems are also impacted. The use case is different based on each system. The big one that everyone is going to want to understand is the impact to the transaction S-Note, so the Note Assistant transaction, to enable the system to download corrections, note corrections from SAP. So definitely something you want to pay attention to with all of your ABAP systems, as well as downloading content for early watch alerts, but that's a very case-by-case unique basis. We'll talk about further down in the slide deck. The next one is Focused Run, which is probably not as widely impacted, but if you're running Focused Run 1.0, you do need to update to 2.0. So those are the areas immediately impacted. So the key to this is really understanding where we are at and educate and prepare, right? That's why we wanted to have the slide deck. We want to really partner with our customers and be there as support to help you prepare and be ready for the change. The biggest thing to know right off the bat is the new SAP Backbone is up and running right now. You do not have to wait till the end of the year. The sooner you do it, the better off you will be. That backbone is ready and running right now. So I can't stress that enough, that you could update to Solman 7.2 SP8 today, and it would connect without issue to the current up and running new backbone. What is going to happen is in January 2020, the previous backbone will be turned off, right? So that's that legacy backbone will be deactivated, and that's the current plan as of right now. That's the other big thing I want to point out is really utilize SAP as a resource. My slide deck shouldn't be the end-all, be-all source of information. It's really just getting us going so that you have all the key details as we know of them now. The websites you see there are all of SAP's websites that they have. It's very detailed on all of the information that I'm going to provide you today, and is being updated on a regular basis. So when you go to implement these changes, make sure you really utilize SAP's resources as well. There's a variety of notes, but these URLs will get you to that key information that you need. They also have a great frequently asked questions page. If there's any other questions that maybe I can't answer for you today, you can go there as well. And I also want to point out, we have a great relationship with the Solution Manager team at SAP. So even if there's questions that you don't see in the frequently asked questions list on SAP's website, or if I can't answer it, we can definitely get you those answers. I can reach out directly to the SAP team and get those details that you need. So definitely utilize us if you have any details that you have questions about. So the first thing I want to cover as well is what isn't impacted, right? So the standard SAP router connections with the SAP router strings that are currently operational in your landscape will not be impacted. That technology and that configuration is still there, and as you know, your SAP router supports the remote connectivity from SAP to your managed systems. That is not impacted either. The backbone is supporting the transfer of data between Solution Manager and managed systems. It's not for the remote connection from SAP to provide support. So don't worry about that. That will not be impacted. Obviously, that's a typo. R4 should be R3. So that's just your standard connection types that you would create on the SAP support website for any managed system. So those will not be impacted, a key detail there. Some important resources I wanted to list for everyone. These were all of the notes that SAP has out there for a variety of the different areas. If you're doing Solution Manager or Focused Run, those are some notes there on how to set up the new support hub all of you that are on Solman 7.2, you're aware of the new Support Hub connection, and that is using that backbone. So those notes there on the top help you go through setting up that process of getting that connection created and activated. There's also a new technical communication user that it's important to understand how to create it and what it's used for. And we'll go into some more details, but those are all notes that you're going to want to go review to understand that new type of user. If you're on 7.2, you're already aware of that user and you've already created it for your solution manager systems. The new information would be that you now need to create it for your managed systems as well. Your any of the NetWeaver ABAP systems running in your landscape will require a communication user now as well. And then just some other technical details there, some notes on that communication between ABAP systems and SAP. So moving on, some must-know details on that technical communication user. So really what it's meant to be used is for that machine-to-machine communication for data exchange. Those users cannot be used to log into SAP Support to maintain anything on the SAP Support website. It's all strictly between two systems. There is a specific website that you utilize to create it, and I've got that link there. It's the 6th bullet point down. There's a specific web URL that you use to create it. Once you request the creation of the user, it's usually created within about 4 hours after the request. Once that S user is created, you then activate it and you assign a password. You will need one user per solution manager system. As far as your managed systems, SAP is recommending you create one per landscape. So one for your ECC Dev QA Prod, one for your BW Dev QA Prod, and so on. If you created one user for every single ABAP system in your landscape, if someone locked a user, put in the wrong password, well, now you just broke that connectivity for all of your systems. So if you separate it out by landscape, that's going to make it easier for management if a user gets locked. One thing you have to be sure to know is that you have to be a super administrator on the SAP Support website in order to create those users. So there's definitely going to be some key personnel within your organization that have that access. So you will want to get them up to speed and request those users to be created to prepare for this. And then, of course, refer to those notes that I provided on the previous page to get more information on that. So now on to Solution Manager. So if you are on Solution Manager 7.1 or Solution Manager 7.2 Support Pack 3 to Support Pack 6, you must upgrade to Support Pack 7 or 8 before January 2020 in order to ensure that all the Solution Manager functionality I'm going to cover will continue to be able to transfer data between SAP and Solution Manager. As far as which version, Support Pack 7 or 8, SP8 is the highly recommended support pack. It was released in December of last year. There are significant enhancements. Beyond just this specific change, there's also lots of improvements that SAP has introduced with Support Pack 8 across all of the different lifecycle management tools within it. So 8 is definitely a great way to go. There's actually a great rhyme that SAP came out with that SAP SP8 is great and definitely the path to go. If you are on SP7 and you don't want to go to 8, you can get it done, but there's going to be more manual steps. It won't be as automated, and you will have to install additional notes in order to get SP7 to connect. It is fully supported to connect to the new backbone, but it's going to take more work. So obviously, if you're on 6, then I would recommend going to 8. Definitely will be the path to go. And then obviously you need to configure that Support Hub connection. There are some changes. There are some new RFCs that are required for it. So you do have to re-execute that configuration for Support Hub. So the next question is what's impacted within Solution Manager, right? Which tools that you may or may not use are actually being impacted? Probably the biggest one that I consider that impacts every client is the landscape management. When a system reports to the LMDB of Solution Manager, it distributes the system information. What components are installed on this system? What are all the different software and what versions? All of that information is transmitted up to SAP, where then you can execute Maintenance Planner. So if you want to apply a support pack, or you want to upgrade a system, or you want to install a new component, you have to go execute Maintenance Planner in the cloud. So in order to do that, you need to make sure that Maintenance Planner has the most up-to-date information about your systems. So that backbone is utilized to transfer that information. So definitely a key one. Also, remote service connection, not as common, but if you want to use Solution Manager to open up a connection to a managed system remotely from Solution Manager, you need that backbone connection as well. Obviously, without Soulman, you can still open up a remote connection directly on the SAP Support website. So this would be the remote connection management on Soulman. The next one is license management. This is a common one that many customers may not even know is up and running on Solution Manager. But Solution Manager has the ability to automatically distribute all of your licenses, your maintenance licenses. So on a regular basis, Solution Manager will download and automatically update the maintenance licenses and certificates on your managed systems. If that backbone connection isn't active, it will not have that new license information, and that tool will not function. The next one would be Test Suite. So Scope and Effort Analyzer, if you're not familiar with it, enables you to analyze a future upgrade that you're going to perform and tells you the impact and the estimated effort that it's going to take to implement that update. Well, in order for Solution Manager to know what that update is and what components are impacted, Solution Manager needs to be able to download the Maintenance Planner transaction, the XML, that data, from Maintenance Planner in order to be able to make that analysis. So without the backbone connection, it will not be able to connect to Maintenance Planner to get that information. So a Scope and Effort Analyzer will essentially will not function without that backbone connection. The next one would be IT Service Management, so the ITSM component of Solution Manager. Obviously, ITSM itself is still going to function just fine. What it is the exchange of messages with SAP. So if you transfer a ticket or a message from ITSM into SAP and you utilize that functionality, that specific piece of that functionality will not operate either. The next one is SAP Engagement and Service Delivery. This is another big one that would impact everyone. For Solution Manager and the managed systems to be able to generate your weekly early watch reports every Monday, at least most people on Mondays, it needs to be able to download service content. There's specific data that early watch alerts are generated based on specific key KPIs and information that SAP develops. In order for that early watch alert to be generated, it needs that information, that latest info. So it will not be able to utilize the latest information from SAP because it won't be able to download that new service content. Also, the delivery of early watch alerts. So Solution Manager delivers early watch alerts to SAP, where then you can look on their early watch alert website where you can analyze all of the data and get more information out of that. That transfer of early watch alerts to SAP won't function either. Also, go-live checks, security optimization reports. So there's a variety of reports in SAP Engagement and Service Delivery that won't function either because they depend on that communication with SAP to get the key KPIs and information it needs to execute those reports. The last one will be system recommendations. So again, Solution Manager needs to be able to update SAP with the system information that is delivered by the systems to the LMDB and Solution Manager. And then once it's delivered, system recommendations downloads what support packs are available, right? If your system's going to go out of maintenance, if your system has notes available to be installed that system recommendations can provide, it can't get those lists of notes without that connection to SAP. So these are all the key areas of Solution Manager that are impacted by the lack of that backbone connection. Moving on to Focused Run. Focused Run is impacted similarly, you need to go to 2.0, and you need to configure that Support Hub connection. And again, that can be done anytime this year. You do not need to wait till the end of the year. Doing it now is going to be the best bet for success. Moving on to the impacted, Focused Run is very much application operations tool. If you're not familiar with it, it doesn't include the test management and the charm and all the additional lifecycle management tools that are in Solution Manager. It's very much about monitoring a system. So there's really just 3 key areas that are all a part of the advanced system management. So very similar tools. You got your landscape management, the delivery for maintenance planner. You have license management, same deal with your licenses and the maintenance certificates. Early watch alerts a little differently. Solution Manager will deliver, Focused Run will deliver early watch alerts to SAP that can then be consumed in the early watch alert workspace. So that ability to send data to the EWA workspace would not be functional either. If you're not aware of that early watch alert workspace, a great new cloud-based tool SAP has delivered, I think it was Q4 of last year. It's amazing. Go check it out. But definitely a tool that you're going to want to be able to use. And that's also Solution Manager as well. Anytime an EWA is sent to SAP, it is available to be consumed in that workspace. So definitely a tool you want to keep functioning. Moving on to ABAP systems. So there's a couple key areas that are impacted by any general NetWeaver ABAP system that connects to SAP. Again, the same requirements. You want to get this connection set up sometime this year. Especially with the Note Assistant. There's one change that I would highlight here. The ability to download notes on the Note Assistant is not dependent on the Solution Tool. The Solution Tool impacts the service content update and the delivery of early watch alerts to SAP if it's directly done by the managed system. So some of you may not even know, but if you didn't have Solution Manager in your landscape for some reason, a managed system could directly send that early watch alert that it generated to SAP and that information where then it can be consumed in the early watch alert workspace. Well, without this backbone connection that's facilitated by the STPI and STAPI components on the managed system, it will not be able to deliver that data. S-Note is not impacted by the Solution Tool, but there is a specific note that SAP has recently updated. It's called Automated Configuration of the New Support Backbone Communication. I'll throw it on the chat, but that one specifies how you need to get the connection set up for the S-Note, the Note Assistant transaction, to be able to download notes. It's essentially just a new RFC, a new secure communication that uses that technical communication user to download notes. So some additional details I wanted to highlight. I know this gets pretty down in the weeds. Details for both Solution Manager and Focused Run. Obviously, you need to create and activate the communication user. That's the first thing you need to do on SAP Support, one for each Solution Manager system or one for each Focused Run if that's what you're on. You're essentially going to be creating 2 backbone URLs. Those are the URLs there. With this communication, you've got a couple options. If your network allows it, the RFC can communicate directly with SAP. If that is not allowed and your firewalls are blocking it, then you can also go through SAP Router. That's just an example of a SAP Router connection that you essentially would input. When you create these RFCs, you actually use a task list called SAP Support Hub Config. That task list will take you through all of these details I'm talking about now, and they have information step by step. So it's very simple and straightforward by they're giving you the step by step instructions on how to do it via the transaction STC01. But back to the connection, you can either go directly to SAP via HTTPS connection. You could go through SAP Router, or you could go through another web proxy, whether it's your own third-party proxy or, obviously SAP Router is a proxy. So you have those 2 options to go through a proxy or SAP Router as well. Once you get those connections created, you have to install some root certificates that you have to download. This parameter needs to be set. The SSL client Cipher Suite parameter. You have to schedule some jobs. Again, all of these things are listed in the task list with detailed information on how to execute. If you have any questions, this is something we've done many times, and we can assist you with as well. But this is all part of what needs to be done in Solution Manager. One caveat here, the automatic creation of the new Support Hub parcel box is supported in SP8 out of the box. That's where it's simpler to get this set up with SP8, where with SP7 there's more manual steps to get it done. So these are the two RFCs that you create in Solution Manager, the SAP Support Parcel Box and then the SAP Support Portal. Both in SP8 are automatically created via that task list. With the S-Note, there's a third RFC with its own task list that will create the RFC required for the managed systems as well. Which again, we'll share another way to get you that specific note. You can actually find it directly off SAP, off the Backbone information page. If you go to frequently asked questions, you can find that note that SAP released on specifically impacting the S-Note transaction. So these are just some general information on the managed systems. If you want to be able to deliver early watch alert data directly from your managed system to Solution Manager, you do need the minimum those versions of solution tools. SAP did release STAPI SP20, so this is a couple days outdated. They released 20 recently. Again, use SAP's information pages to get all the latest information, as these things are subject to change. So again, this slide is talking about some things I already discussed. If you want to update directly and download S-Note, you need to make sure that the managed system connects via this new backbone. So some key takeaways. Obviously, don't wait. Begin planning now and update as soon as possible. There's no reason why you can't start now. That backbone is up and running and ready to go. Obviously, refer to SAP documentation for any changes that may occur throughout the next year. But I would say most of it's probably pretty much there, and definitely can be utilized to start get your systems connected now. And keep in mind that legacy infrastructure remains in place until January 2020. So you will still have this functionality for this entire year of 2019. You're not going to lose it right now. Another piece I would recommend is that I didn't mention, take a look at S-Note. There are specific versions. We've got some people asking about their specific version of ABAP. There are some limitations with S-Note. There is a requirement on its ability to download signed notes from SAP. So there's some requirements there. Again, it's all on those websites that I listed to get all the details there. So wrapping up, thank you everyone for attending today. Please feel free to reach out in any way if you have any questions.
All right, thanks so much, Jeremy. Just a couple more poll questions just to wrap it up. Would you like some more information on Soulman 7.2? This includes being on our newsletter. So as we get information, you get information, and that comes directly from SAP. So if you would, just type yes into, click the yes box, give people a little bit more time to answer. All right. And in addition to getting more information on 7.2, we're happy to set up a personal session with anybody who's looking to upgrade to Support Package 8. So feel free to type yes or no into that box, and we'll make sure that we get you the support you need. And again, we'll give people a little bit more time. All right, we have some other questions popping up. It looks like some people are still looking for a personal session. All right, great. Moving on, here's just a list of some of the SAP press books that we've published in the last 2 or 3 years. You'll see that Solution Manager Practical Guide is out. And we can offer up a 15% discount on the Soulman Practical Guidebook. Just type PRESS, P-R-E-S-S, if you're interested in looking for getting a 15% discount on the Soulman book. You can just type that into the chat box at any point. All right, so I'll give you a couple seconds on that. So now we're going to get to our questions. We wanted to get through as much information as possible because we knew there would be some questions. So we essentially just want to make this an open forum. We'll run through the questions that we have right now, and I'm going to put Jeremy's contact information. Anything that's not answered, you can feel free to reach out to Jeremy. And as he mentioned, we would love to be able to add any support we could, and that comes directly through SAP as well, too. So we have a wonderful relationship with the SAP Soulman leadership there, and we'll be happy to provide any type of support that we have. All right, so let's get to the questions. First one you may have covered a little bit, Jeremy. One of our viewers asks, we have ABAP 7.01 systems. Would the ST-PI 740 work on it?
So I would have to refer to SAP for that. I couldn't tell you specifically if 7.4 is going to work on that version. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer handy right now. I could definitely get back to you if you want to shoot me an email and get you that information. I mean, you should have a version of ST-PI already installed, but you just want to make sure it's on the latest version.
Absolutely.
I believe they are backwards compatible, but don't hold me to that.
And as we mentioned, any questions that we have here that we need to reach out to SAP for, or that is something that we can find on the update board, we will get right back to you and answer those questions. Second one, next question is Soulman Support Package 8 a prereq for Focused Run 2.0?
Okay, so to answer that question, I want to come back to, Focused Run 2.0 and 1.0 are completely separate solutions from SAP, from Solution Manager. Solution Manager and Focused Run are not the same thing. They're completely separate. Focused Run runs on NetWeaver 7.5. It does not have a Java stack. It only provides application operations related tools. So your monitoring, right, your maintenance planner, stuff like that. It does not have anything to do with Solution Manager. So the answer is no, it is not a prerequisite. Soulman SP8 is a completely separate solution from Focused Run. You're probably a little confused because the other focused solutions, Focus Insights and Focus Build, are installed based with the same component, and they're installed on Solution Manager. They are focused solutions as in the wheelhouse with Focused Run as well, but Insights and Build are installed on Solution Manager. They are not installed on Focused Run, so they're completely separate.
All right, so our next question is, in terms of time and effort, what is the difference in a 7.1 to 7.2 upgrade to 7.2 Support Package 5 to SP08?
So the significant difference there between the two, when you're going from 7.1 to 7.2, you have to understand the impact to the functionality you're currently using. The biggest impacts are solution documentation, charm, test suite. So if you're utilizing any of those tools, there is significant impact, and there's significantly more time involved to get to 7.2. You have to go through the content activation procedure to make sure all of that content and that configuration still functions properly. To give you an exact comparison as far as amount of time, it'd be really impossible for me to do. The difference from the upgrade to 7.2, when you go to an update, I'll refer to 7.2 SP5 to SP8 as an update and not an upgrade. So if you're just doing an update and applying a support pack, it's significantly less impact because all of your charm, your solution documentation is already on that new infrastructure on 7.2, so you do not have to do content activation. You just simply need to apply the support pack, do the post update procedures like installing new composite notes, like re-executing the guided procedures in Soulman Setup. So really, I would say it's probably 40%. I'd have to give you a percentage, so 40% more work to do an upgrade to 7.2 versus an update to SP8 if you're already on 7.2. Hopefully that helps. If not, we can always set up a call, and we can, if you tell me exactly what you're utilizing 7.1 for, I can give you a better idea of how much work it's going to be.
All right, so you may have answered this one already. We have Focus Build is free in September 2019. What version is required to support Focus Build?
So from SAP's information, I've not seen any specific requirement on the Focus Build and Focus Insights component needing to be patched. If you go to you cannot go to the latest release of Focus Build and Insights until you're on Support Pack 7. So if you're on anything below 7, you're going to want to update and go with the latest Support Pack for Focus Build and Insights. But I'm not aware of any minimum requirement for the backbone.
All right, so if we don't have any more questions, so we got a question of, can you please share this slide presentation? Yeah, so we'll be sending out an edited copy of the video to everyone. And again, we left Jeremy's contact information on the screen, so if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out. At this point, unless we don't have any more questions, I want to say thank you so much to Jeremy. A lot of information to cover in half an hour. Again, we just wanted to be able to answer as many questions as possible. Yeah, we'll edit this down and make sure that everybody has it. On your way out, you will see a comment sheet. We'd love to know what you thought about the presentation, and as we build our schedule, continue to build our schedule for the webinar series for 2019, what topics you'd like us to address, because we do very much place a lot of importance on what you're looking for in terms of solutions and software. So, and again, what you thought of the presentation as a whole. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you again, Jeremy, and thank you everybody for joining us. Hope to see you at the next webinar. Thanks again, and have a great night.